Let me ask you something honestly. If your Volkswagen developed a serious problem tomorrow, something expensive, something that required a major repair, would you know whether it was bad luck or whether something you had been doing or not doing had been quietly building toward that moment for months or even years? Most Volkswagen owners never ask that question. And that is exactly why so many repairs feel sudden when they were actually predictable. Engines do not usually fail overnight. Transmissions do not usually become rough in a single afternoon. Turbos do not simply wake up one day and decide to die. In most cases, the damage has been stacking up slowly through habits that felt harmless at the time. Volkswagen builds cars that can be enjoyable, efficient, refined, and surprisingly durable when maintained properly. But they are also machines that respond badly to neglect, shortcuts, and misinformation. A lot of owners treat them like any generic appliance car, and that is where trouble starts. Because many VW systems are engineered with tighter tolerances, specific fluid requirements, and maintenance schedules that matter more than people realize. Ignore those things, and ownership becomes expensive. Respect them, and the car can stay solid for years. Today we are going through 5 mistakes almost every Volkswagen owner makes at some point. These are the habits that shorten engine life, wear out expensive components, and turn a car that should be reliable into a money pit. More importantly, we're going to cover what to do instead so your VW stays strong for the long haul. If you own a Golf, Jetta, Passat, Tiguan, Polo, Arteon, Touareg, or almost anything wearing a VW badge, pay close attention. Some of these may hit close to home. Mistake number 1. Following the maximum oil change interval on a turbo engine and assuming it is safe for all driving conditions. This is probably the single most common mistake Volkswagen owners make, especially newer owners who trust the service reminder system completely. The car may say oil service due in 10,000 miles or even longer depending on market and model. That sounds reassuring. It feels like permission to relax. Many owners think, if the car says it, it must be fine. But the reality is more complicated. Most modern Volkswagen engines use turbocharging. Whether it is TSI, TFSI, or another variation, those engines rely heavily on engine oil not just for lubrication, but also for cooling and protecting the turbocharger itself. That turbo spins at extreme speed under intense heat. Oil is the lifeline that keeps it alive. When oil ages, it loses some of its protective qualities. Additives break down, contaminants build up, heat cycles take their toll. If your driving consists of short trips, city traffic, cold starts, stop-and-go movement, hard acceleration, or hot weather, the oil often degrades faster than ideal laboratory schedules suggest. That means a person stretching oil changes to the maximum interval may think they are saving money, while slowly increasing wear on the turbo, timing components, piston rings, and internal engine surfaces. The damage is rarely dramatic at first. It shows up later as oil consumption, turbo noise, rough running, sludge buildup, or premature failure. The smarter move is simple. If you own a turbocharged VW, use a quality, full synthetic oil that meets Volkswagen specifications and shorten the interval if your driving is harsh. For many owners, around 5,000 miles or 8,000 kilometers is a safer real-world target than pushing to the limit. Oil is cheap compared to an engine or turbo replacement. Think of it this way. Skipping or delaying oil service saves a little money now, but risks a huge bill later. That trade is almost never worth it. Mistake number 2, using the wrong coolant and thinking all antifreeze is the same. Few mistakes look more innocent than topping up coolant with whatever is available at the nearest store. A jug says coolant. Your reservoir is low. You pour it in. Problem solved, right? Not on a Volkswagen. Volkswagen cooling systems are designed around specific coolant formulas. Different generations often use VW-approved coolants, such as G12, G13, or related specifications. These formulas are not random marketing labels. They're chosen for corrosion resistance, compatibility with seals and metals, and long-term performance inside the engine and radiator system. Many generic coolants are chemically different. Mixing incorrect coolant types can create contamination, sludge, internal deposits, reduced cooling efficiency, and accelerated wear of pumps, seals, heater cores, and radiators. Sometimes the issue develops slowly, which makes it harder to trace back to that one top-up months earlier. Owners often notice weak cabin heat, overheating in traffic, unexplained coolant loss, or repeated water pump issues without realizing the wrong coolant may be part of the story. The safe move is always to use the correct VW-approved coolant for your model. If you're unsure what is currently inside the car, especially if bought used, it can be wise to fully flush the system and refill with the proper coolant mixed correctly with distilled water where required. Cooling systems seem simple until they fail. Then they become expensive very quickly. A cheap random coolant jug can lead to repairs that cost many times more than buying the right fluid in the first place. Mistake number 3, driving hard on a cold engine. This one feels normal because almost everyone does it at some point. You start the car in the morning, maybe you are late, maybe traffic opens up, maybe the engine feels responsive. So you accelerate hard, rev it out, or immediately demand full performance. The engine started fine, so it must be ready, right? Not exactly. When an engine is cold, the oil is thicker and has not yet reached ideal operating temperature. Metal parts inside the engine and turbocharger have not fully expanded to their intended clearances. Lubrication is present, but not yet optimal. The engine may run, but it is not fully ready for stress. This matters especially on turbocharged Volkswagens. Hard throttle on a cold engine asks the turbo to spin rapidly and the engine internals to work under load before oil flow and temperatures are where they should be. Do this repeatedly over months and years, and you can accelerate wear on bearings, turbo seals, piston rings, timing components, and valve train parts. Again, it is usually not one dramatic event. It is cumulative damage. The correct habit is easy and costs nothing. Start the car and drive gently for the first several minutes. Keep RPM moderate. Avoid full throttle. Mistake number 4, ignoring DSG transmission service because someone said it is sealed for life. Volkswagen's DSG transmission is one of the most impressive modern gearboxes when healthy. It shifts quickly, feels efficient, and can make the car genuinely enjoyable to drive. But it also has a reputation for expensive repairs. A big reason for that reputation is owners skipping maintenance. Some people hear phrases like sealed unit or lifetime fluid and assume the transmission never needs service. That misunderstanding has cost many owners serious money. Depending on model and transmission type, DSG gearboxes often require fluid and filter service at scheduled intervals. The fluid does real work. It lubricates internal parts, helps cooling, and supports hydraulic operation. Over time, it degrades from heat, use, and contamination. When neglected, symptoms can appear gradually. Mistake number 5, ignoring small warning signs until they become major repairs. This final mistake ties everything together. It is not about one part. It is about mindset. Owners often dismiss early symptoms because they want the car to be fine. A slight rough idle becomes probably bad fuel. A tiny coolant drop becomes just evaporation. A check engine light that disappears becomes it fixed itself. A faint ticking noise becomes they all sound like that. Sometimes those explanations are true. Often they're not. Volkswagens, like most modern cars, usually give warnings before expensive failure. The car may hesitate because of carbon buildup, ignition issues, air leaks, sensor drift, or fuel delivery problems. A small coolant loss may be an early pump leak, housing crack, or hose seep. A temporary warning light may store fault codes that reveal a developing issue long before breakdown day. Ignoring these signs allows minor repairs to grow into major ones. A simple coil pack issue can damage catalysts if misfires continue. A small coolant leak can become overheating. A bad PCV valve can lead to poor running and oil issues. Suspension noises can turn into tire wear and unsafe handling. The earlier you catch problems, the cheaper they usually are. Smart VW owners build the habit of paying attention. They notice changes in sound, feel, smell, idle quality, fuel economy, or temperature behavior. So let's recap the 5 mistakes. Stretching oil changes too far on turbo engines. Using the wrong coolant. driving hard before the engine is warm, skipping DSG service, ignoring early warning signs. Every one of these is common. Every one of them is avoidable. And every one of them can turn a good car into an expensive headache if repeated long enough. Fix the habits, stay ahead of maintenance, and use the right parts and fluids. Do that, and your Volkswagen is far more likely to give you what it was built to deliver: comfort, efficiency, enjoyable driving, and years of solid service instead of surprise repair bills.